Chill English Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Chill English Podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Chloe. We are so glad you could tune in today.
We really are. We've got a topic today that almost everyone, everywhere can relate to in some way. The daily commute. The journey to and from work or school.
Just saying the word commute can bring up so many feelings. Stress, boredom, maybe even a little bit of peaceful alone time. It's often the part of the day we don't think much about, but it's filled with its own special vocabulary and experiences.
Exactly. And today we're not just going to scratch the surface. We are going to dive deep into the world of commuting. We'll be breaking down the experience of both driving to work and taking the bus. We'll cover everything from the moment you leave your house to the moment you arrive at the office.
That's right. We've packed this episode with over 15 essential idioms, phrasal verbs, and common phrases that you will hear and can use when talking about your travel. So grab your headphones, get comfortable, and let's get started with Day 8, the daily commute.
All right, Chloe. So the daily commute, it really starts before we even leave the house, doesn't it? It begins with that decision in the morning. For me, as a planner, my commute begins the night before. I check the weather, I lay out my clothes. I know.
Of course you do, Alex. You are such a creature of habit. I, on the other hand, tend to play it by ear. I wake up, see how I feel, see what time it is, and then decide how my morning is going to go.
And that is a perfect place for our first teaching point. I just called Chloe a creature of habit, and she said she prefers to play it by ear. These are two fantastic opposing idioms.
They really are. Alex, since you're the master of planning, why don't you break down creature of habit for us?
With pleasure. A creature of habit is someone who likes to do the same thing at the same time every day. They have a routine, and they stick to it because it makes them feel comfortable and in control. For example, my morning routine is non-negotiable. Wake up at 6 a.m., gym at 6:15, coffee at 7:15, leave the house at exactly 7:45. It's predictable.
See, that sounds like a nightmare to me, which is why I play it by ear. This idiom means you don't have a fixed plan. You decide what to do as the situation develops. The image is of a musician who can play a song just by hearing it without needing to see the sheet music. So if I wake up late, I might skip my usual coffee at home and grab one near the office. If I wake up early, maybe I'll take a longer, more scenic route on the bus. I adapt.
It's a fundamental difference in our personalities, and it perfectly defines how we approach our commutes. I drive to work, and you take the bus.
Exactly. So let's start with your journey. You're a driver. You finished your perfectly timed coffee. It's 7:45 a.m. What happens next?
Okay, so at 7:45, I grab my keys and my work bag, and I hit the road. Or more accurately, I get ready to hit the road. This phrase, to hit the road, simply means to begin a journey. You can use it for a long road trip or just for your daily drive to work. All right, time to hit the road.
So you walk to your car. What's the first thing you do?
The very first thing, before I even start the engine, is I check my GPS app for the traffic situation. My main goal every morning is to beat the traffic. This means leaving early enough to avoid the worst of the congestion. The period of the worst traffic is, of course, called rush hour.
Rush hour. The two scariest words in the English language for a commuter. It's that peak time in the morning and evening when everyone is going to or from work.
Precisely. So I check the map. If the roads are green, I feel a sense of victory. If they're red, I know it's going to be a slow morning. I get behind the wheel, which is another way of saying I get into the driver's seat and prepare to drive, and I start the car. I have to back out of my driveway, which means to reverse the car out of the parking space at my house. Then I'm officially on my way.
Okay, so let's imagine it's a bad day. You didn't manage to beat the traffic. What's it like?
It's frustrating. You're stuck in a traffic jam. The cars are bumper to bumper. Let's break that one down. It's a very descriptive phrase. Imagine the back bumper of the car in front of you and the front bumper of your car. When they are almost touching and moving very, very slowly, that's bumper to bumper traffic. You're just crawling along.
That sounds incredibly stressful. I can just picture you gripping the steering wheel, being the opposite of being chill.
It can be. And that's when you sometimes see bad behavior from other drivers. For example, yesterday, a guy in a big truck decided that he didn't want to wait, so he suddenly moved into my lane right in front of me without signaling. He cut me off.
Ugh, I hate that. When someone cuts you off, it's so dangerous and disrespectful. It forces you to brake suddenly.
Exactly, and that can lead to road rage. Road rage is that sudden, extreme anger you feel towards another driver because of their behavior. People might start honking their horn aggressively, shouting, or even driving dangerously to show their anger. I try to stay calm. I put out a podcast like this one and just breathe.
A very wise strategy. So you're in this bumper-to-bumper traffic, trying to avoid people with road rage who might cut you off. What happens when you finally get close to your office?
The final challenge, parking. The office parking lot fills up quickly, so the last part of my journey is the hunt to find a spot, which means to find an empty parking space. Sometimes I have to circle the lot 2 or 3 times. When I finally see an empty space, it feels like winning the lottery. I pull in, turn off the engine, and my commute is officially over. The whole process on a bad day can take over an hour.
Wow, an hour of that stress? See, this is why I am Team Bus. My commute is so different.
Okay, let's hear it. Take us through a typical Chloe morning commute. You've woken up, you've played it by ear, and now it's time to leave.
All right, so I don't hit the road because I'm not driving. I just head out the door. I walk about 5 minutes to the bus stop. My first goal is simple, to catch the bus. The opposite of this, of course, is to miss the bus. If I see it coming down the street while I'm still a block away, I might have to run for it.
That sounds stressful in its own way.
It's a different kind of stress. It's a short burst of panic, not a long, slow hour of frustration. So I get to the bus stop. If the bus is coming, sometimes you have to flag it down. This means you wave your arm or hand to signal to the driver that you want them to stop.
Right, you have to get their attention. Then what?
Then you get on the bus. To get on is the phrasal verb we use for entering a large vehicle like a bus, train, or airplane. The opposite is to get off. When I'm talking informally with friends, I might also say I need to hop on the bus. It just sounds a bit quicker and more casual.
Get on, hop on. I like that. What about paying?
I tap my transport card to pay the fare. The fare is the money you pay for a journey on public transport. Then comes the next challenge, which is similar to your parking problem, finding a seat. During rush hour, the bus can be packed like sardines.
Okay, packed like sardines is a classic idiom. Let's pause here. This is a great teaching point.
It is. It's so visual. Sardines are tiny fish that are packed very, very tightly into a can. So if a place like a bus, train, or concert venue is packed like sardines, it means it is extremely crowded. There are people squished together everywhere with very little room to move.
Have you ever been on a bus that was truly uncomfortably packed like sardines?
Oh, absolutely. I have a story. One time during a huge rainstorm, everyone decided to take the bus instead of walk or bike. I managed to squeeze on, but I was standing with my face literally inches from a stranger's backpack. I couldn't move my arms. Every time the bus stopped, the whole crowd of people would sway together like one giant organism. It was awkward, but also kind of funny. You just have to accept it.
I don't think I could handle that. I need my personal space. That's a major con or disadvantage of taking the bus for me.
It can be a con for sure, but here are the pros, the advantages. Once I find a seat or even just a place to stand and hold on, my time is my own. I don't have to focus on the road. This is when I can kill time.
To kill time. What do you mean by that?
To kill time means to do something to occupy yourself while you are waiting for something else to happen. My bus ride is about 35 minutes, so I have 35 minutes to kill. I can listen to music, I can read a book, I can catch up on emails on my phone, or I can do my favorite thing, people watch.
But you often say you just put your headphones on and relax.
I do. Sometimes I just put on some music, look out the window, and completely zone out. This is another fantastic phrasal verb. To zone out means to stop paying attention and lose yourself in your thoughts. You're not really thinking about anything specific. Your mind is just blank, and you're in a state of relaxation. It's like a mini meditation. You can't zone out when you're driving, can you?
Absolutely not. That would be incredibly dangerous. If I zoned out behind the wheel, I would end up in an accident. My mind has to be 100% focused on the road, on other cars, on traffic lights. I listen to podcasts, but I'm actively listening, not zoning out.
See? That's the biggest difference. My commute has built-in downtime. Your commute is active work. Sometimes a delay on my commute can even be a good thing. It can be a blessing in disguise.
A blessing in disguise. That's a deep one. Explain it.
A blessing in disguise is something that seems bad or unlucky at first, but results in something good happening later. For example, one time I missed the bus. I was so annoyed, but because I had to wait 15 minutes for the next one, I ran into an old friend at the bus stop who I hadn't seen in years. We had a wonderful chat and made plans to get dinner. If I had caught the bus, I never would have seen her. So missing the bus was a blessing in disguise.
That's a great way to look at things. I suppose the closest I get to that is when a traffic jam forces me to discover a new route that turns out to be faster in the long run. The initial problem leads to a better solution.
Exactly. So my bus eventually gets to my stop near the office. I hear the announcement, I press the button, and I get off the bus. I have a short 2-block walk to the office building, and then I'm there, ready to start the day and honestly, usually feeling pretty relaxed.
I have to admit, your commute sounds much more chill than mine. We've talked about the pros and cons of each, the pros being the advantages and the cons being the disadvantages. For me, the pro is control and privacy. The con is stress and focus.
And for me, the pro is free time and relaxation. The con is the lack of control and the occasional sardine situation.
I think we've covered a lot of ground here, from hitting the road to getting off the bus. This feels like a good moment to recap all the amazing phrases we've introduced.
All right, everyone, that was a lot of information. Let's do a quick review of the key vocabulary from today's discussion. I've grouped them into a few categories to make it easier.
Great idea, Alex. Let's do it.
Category 1, general mindset and starting out. Creature of habit, someone who loves a fixed routine. Play it by ear, to decide what to do as you go without a firm plan. Hit the road, to begin a journey. Set off, another phrasal verb that means to start a journey. We didn't use this one much in our chat, but it's a perfect synonym for hit the road. For example, we set off for the mountains at dawn.
Nice additions. Okay, category 2, driving vocabulary. Get behind the wheel, to get into the driver's seat. Beat the traffic, to leave early to avoid congestion. Rush hour, the busiest time for traffic. Traffic jam or bumper to bumper, a situation with very heavy, slow-moving traffic. Cut someone off, to move into a lane too closely in front of another car. Road rage, extreme anger felt by a driver. Find a spot, to find an empty parking space.
Perfect. And category 3, public transport vocabulary. Catch the bus or miss the bus, to succeed or fail in getting on the bus. Flag down a bus, to signal for a bus to stop for you. Get on, get off, the phrasal verbs for entering and leaving a bus or train. Hop on, a more casual way to say get on. Fare, the price you pay for the journey. Packed like sardines, an idiom for being in a very crowded space.
And finally, category 4, general commuting, idioms, and phrasal verbs. Kill time, to occupy yourself while waiting. Zone out, to stop paying attention and relax your mind. Pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages of something. A blessing in disguise, something that seems bad at first but has a good outcome.
That's a fantastic list. Over 20 words and phrases. We hope that breaking them down with stories and examples helps you remember them.
It was so much fun sharing our different commuting styles. And now we want to hear from you, our amazing listeners. What is your daily commute like? Are you team car like Alex or team bus like me? Or maybe you take the train, ride a bike, or walk.
We want to know the details. What are the pros and cons of your commute? Have you ever been stuck in a crazy traffic jam or had a ride where you were packed like sardines? Do you have any funny or interesting stories? Leave a comment on our YouTube channel or on our website. We read every single one, and we'd love to hear your story. It's a great way to practice using these new phrases.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the daily commute. We hope you learned a lot and feel more confident using these terms.
Yes, thank you for listening. We'll be back soon with another episode of the Chill English Podcast.
Until then, take care.
Bye.